States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and welcome to our board meeting tonight. We will start with any deletions or additions to the agenda. Okay, move on to item 3, the approval of the agenda with additional bills.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the agenda with additional bills.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All right, there is a motion on the table to approve the agenda with additional bills. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? The ayes have it. All right, and now I would entertain a motion to move into executive session.
I approve a motion to enter into executive session.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? We'll be back.
Just on silent trash.
Okay. She can swim. That was then. She doesn't look like that
Alright, so, Madam Chair, I would move to adjourn our executive session.
A second.
Alright.
Time is
Oh, yeah, vote.
Yep, a second. I had to catch up with you, sorry. Alright, so, motion on the table to leave executive session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. The ayes have it. Alright, thank you. Thank you for your patience. Alright, we'll keep moving on with our good things happening.
We have some stuff.
Yes, go right ahead.
You ready? I'm gonna turn the time over to Mrs. Burt and her History Day kiddos to explain what they did in Washington. Anyway, you guys ready?
Sure.
All right. Come up front. You guys have to go up front.
Sure.
How about this one?
Yeah.
That way you're not.
Two guys at baseball.
And two guys at baseball. So, we just got back from National History Day. We took 5 students this year to compete in the competition. Our theme was turning points in history, and I would say that our 5 students represented this little Wheatland well. We had a great time competing. They, from what I saw, and I did not get to watch all of them, Henry's room got behind. The boys aren't here, they had baseball tonight, but Henry had his best interview ever. I was very proud of him because by yourself is tough. And he stood right up there, shook the judges' hands and smiled at them and spoke clearly, and I was so proud of him.
Henry who?
Henry Russell, he's a little 12-year-old. He did a great job. And then Drew and Coy competed together. And then these 2 girls competed. I'm gonna let them tell you what they did. But very proud, Henry came back with the Wyoming medal. This is the 5th time we've gotten it, 4th consecutive year. So we were really proud for little old Wheatland to represent Wyoming and come back with a medal, so.
Awesome.
Go for it.
Take it out.
The process was?
Yeah.
Okay, so we worked on all of our stuff during like class time, and then we also worked on it during Blue and Gold. And we created a website about FFA, And so we got first to nationals, which meant that we
No,
got,
state.
or I meant state, so that meant that we got to go to nationals in DC. And whenever we walked into the room, you could tell that they were very nice and welcoming. So our interview was, I think, one of our best interviews. It was very fun. That sounds weird for an interview, but it was really fun. And like the whole room was just laughing and all that. So. We went to the Air and Space Museum and Spy Museum in the Philippines.
What do you want me to say?
Tell what you would
About our project?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the
So,
project?
me and Coy, we talked about astrochimps. Basically, so during the space race, the USA, we sent chimps into space to prove that mankind could live and work in space, and basically how that was a turning point in the space race, and how Ham, one of the chimp who was sent into space, like paved the way for the rest of space travel.
Tell them your funny line about the right stuff, they'll like that.
I can't say that. I can't say this off my head.
She mentioned it, now you gotta say it.
Yeah, but I pulled it right out of the middle of her thing. Any self-respecting astronaut with the right stuff.
That mankind could live and work in space. Of course, the Mercury astronauts were not too thrilled in recognizing the fact that a chimp preceded them in all phases of the mission. After all, how could any self-respecting test pilot with the right stuff let on that they were replacing a chimp?
Okay, and then what was your favorite thing that we did?
Well, overall, it was like an amazing experience, but personally, I love the Air and Space Museum, specifically the space section. It had everything you could possibly want to know about space.
And then we also went to Mount Vernon, which was very cool. We had to kind of speed it up a little bit, but that was cool. These kids were easy to take. They were just, it was a really easy group of kids. We had a lot of fun. We experienced subways, escalators.
Electronic scooters.
Do you have any questions for the kids? Oh, and we also wanted to thank Mr. Daniel because he provided the middle school kids with some funds so that we didn't have to work quite as hard fundraising, so thank you, Mr. Daniel. We really appreciate that.
And then, Ms. Burt, how many years have you been doing History Day?
I have been doing History Day more than 25 years, but I'm not sure if it's 26 years.
25 is still an accomplishment.
And of that, we've only not gone to nationals twice.
Wow.
So anywhere from 1 student to 11. And when I took 10, I did it by myself. So
Wow.
usually we have 5. That's kind of an average number that we take.
Mr. Burt has a question.
I promise I won't embarrass you. Now, the chimp, just a statement, the chimp project has local, yeah, do you wanna tell that? Talk about that?
So, one of the veterinarians for Ham, actually works here, worked here, he has a business here, so we weren't actually able to interview him though, due to like dementia, but we were able to interview his son, and he was definitely like one of our best
So
resources.
tell them who it is.
Dr. Britz.
So Bill Britz gave him an interview and the whole family filed.
Wow. Very nice.
So,
Special.
if you look on the middle school Facebook page, you can see a slideshow that we worked on, right? She and I worked on a slideshow, we sent all of the pictures to Mr. Daniel. So if you look, it's on there,
Okay, good.
Thank you. Okay?
And then, good things happening, part B, the CDO class.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. So last couple of months, we talked about the CDL class being offered in our community. So it's gonna be July 16th through the 19th. We're looking at hopefully getting some district staff members to participate in that, and some parents that might help us out. We are kind of behind a little bit with our CDL drivers with all of our activities, so Anybody who's interested in doing that, from our coaches, sponsors, teachers, parents, we'd love to have you come and go through that training. Go through the physical, go through the training, and actually be certified as a CDL driver. That's the goal of that. There was a little bonus involved in that. Once you get the CDL, once you do so many hours, there's another little bonus. That's kind of how we put it together. So we're just trying to recruit folks in our communities who continue all the activities that we move forward. So anybody out there want to be a CDL driver, here's your chance to get trained. So
That'd be a way to go see your good.
yeah, parents, if you're gonna go across and want to watch your son or daughter participate, you can drive and make a little money
And
if
get
you're doing that. Yeah. And then we have a slideshow too. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yep, there's always the slideshow in the back on the good things happening.
And there's an advertisement, I don't know if you can click on that, Ryan, the advertisement part of that. And that's on our website also. And
I think this is a great plan, I love the incremental, and thank you for really
Yeah.
working on
We'll
this.
probably send this out to our parents within the district too, so they know, so we're just trying to get that message out there, when the actual dates are gonna be for the training.
$23 an hour.
You wanna do it?
I may have to drive.
We'll take you.
I used to coach and drive the bus too.
There you go, there you
It's
go,
changed a little.
there you go. Thanks, Ryan.
Alright, and next we have correspondence, seeing none, we'll move on to visitor comments, and none of those either. Alright, the consent agenda. With the minutes, the claims and the donations.
Okay, well, Madam Chair, I would move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Alright, thank you. Any discussion?
I am going to recuse.
Okay. Alright, any further discussion? Alright, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? So 6 to 0. Alright. Informational items. Mr. Weigel?
Yeah, we'll start with our summer school programs. I'm gonna have Mr. Schaffner come up and talk a little bit about Libby and West and Linda. I guess Tom is here, so Tom, I guess we'll have Shane talk about Libby and then Tom, you can talk about the
Unless you
other
wanna just.
kids. Came back early from your camping trip.
I know you like it.
Wearing?
There was extenuating circumstances.
Okay, well, good to see you here.
All right, thank you. Shane Schaffner from Libby Elementary. So summer school this year, we had 36 kids sign up. We average about 20 kids a day come in. Right now we're doing a little different. We're differentiating all of our instruction in reading and math this year. So all of our kids, they kind of rotate with different stations, and so when they're in math, they'll either get one-on-one instruction or they're in a small group based on where their skill levels are. So we're gonna do that, so we're getting to see some good growth there. And then we're running science and STEM rotation as well. And our theme this year is weather. So kids have got a whole packet, they're going through and learning about weather. We've done barometric pressure and made a little barometer there. Made some weather vanes and even made some snow this summer. So that's been fun. Additionally, we have art and music rotation. So you go to the back hallway, it's nice and lively, you can have kids singing songs, and then in art, they've been doing different crafts. They made some Father's Day gifts as well, heading into this last weekend. And then otherwise, in the afternoons, we have ESY, or extended school year, for those kids that have individual education plans, so.
Do most of them have IEPs?
No.
They're just, if they did, this is a requirement?
No, this would be, ESY could be an option for them, but, so we just have all of our summer school open to any kid, so we invite everybody. And I guess I headed that out, and so we send this letter out to, on the other side, to every kid, every parent, probably in April, and then again in May try to get as many kids there.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Wayne.
Keeps their juices flowing, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great work, thanks guys.
Good job.
Thank you.
Tom Wayne, that's all West. Bradley's favorite drum corps international band was playing last night in Laramie, so we had to leave the mountains to go to Laramie to watch the Blue Knights drum corps international play, and then we thought, well, let's just come home and.
Okay.
Then I called you and I called Josh from my office today, so I didn't figure it'd be professional to skip. So we have the same weeks going on, the same timeline as Mr. Schaffner. We have 26 sign up and we get about 20 a day. Depending on the day, depending on baseball, depending on swimming lessons. I know we had some shivering kids show up today because swimming lessons must have been cold. But we have multiple teachers also this year. We have some doing some individual high dosage tutoring also. We have 8 kids that we signed up for that. 7 of them are in summer school and then they get pulled for like a half an hour a day to work individually one-on-one in those skill areas. We also do some STEM activities. So far, they have made solar s'mores, solar cookers out of pizza boxes. And they just set them outside and put the s'more inside and the sun hits stuff and science happens. It's pretty much. And so they made s'mores that way. And then they did roller coasters out of straws for golf balls to go down.
Open.
And then the last one that they did was they made birdhouses for Father's Day.
And your average students?
About 20.
About 20?
Yeah. And then the 7 or 8, depending on if they're there or not, get pulled one at a time throughout the day, well, throughout the morning. So.
Thanks, sir. Oh yeah, you hey, Glendale, they haven't started yet, but you can report on their dates.
Glendale will start July 8th is when they'll start. So I've been talking back and forth with Mr. Fagan about where they're gonna have it. They're opening it up to everybody. Oh, Mr. Schaffner did say he opens his up to everybody. My 3rd grade team, 4th grade team, 5th grade teams sit down and meet. And then I have a Google sheet that they fill out and they pick candidates, like the top 25 in each grade level that we send a letter out to try to make it sure it's pretty small and intense, so.
Sir? Mr. Daniels?
I'm Mr. Daniel from Wheatland Middle School. Our summer school is set up just a little bit different, same timeline. We go Monday through Thursday, 8 to about noon. We invited about 24 kids. We average about 8 to 10. It just depends on who's there and who's not. We have implemented the school's PLP program in the middle school. And I can report that it's successful so far. And we're using the credit recovery part of it for middle schoolers. So it's a little bit, I guess, accelerated, a little faster pace. We're also using the math accelerator for math, which also just does an individual plan for math for kids. And the ones that we invited, it really does help them get kind of on their level and helps them feel successful. And they're doing well. We don't do any fun projects really. We do let them go walk. Right now over at the middle school, they're getting ready to put the roof on, and so they do a lot of activities out on the football field. But yeah, it's been successful so far.
Good.
Any questions? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Sandlin?
Good evening, Josh Sandlin, Wheatland High School Principal and Peak High School. So we have 30 students that have come into basically the credit recovery portion of summer school. We go 8 to 2, Monday through Friday, for the 4 weeks in June. So So we have 23 students that are working on credit recovery, 7 students that are working ahead in some format. One of those students is the student that you approved for early graduation. But we also have students that are working on a science credit because they want to get ahead. And then we have 5 that are working on world language, either Spanish or French. And that's going pretty well. Mrs. Boaz is there. We're also utilizing a combination of Edgenuity, which is our current program, and the school's PLP program. We had some students that had courses in Edgenuity already that they finished up, and then we got them into school's PLP, and now we're kind of looking at, okay, maybe it's nice to have that second resource instead of all of our kids in one. If we have a second resource, that would be a good thing for especially Peak High School in the future. And so we have a combination of kids going through the different programs. We also have, this is the first summer that we've offered our summer workouts for credit. I don't know what the evening session numbers are, but I know in the morning there's 20 to 30 kids ranging from 6th grade to 12th grade in there.
Wow.
Working for the first part with Coach Goff, but then they kind of split off. Coach Goff does some other individual type things with a group of students, and then Coach Nichols is also working with a group of girls in the weight room as well. And the ones that are receiving credit are the high school kids, but we do have middle school students that are attending, so that's good. And so far, after 2 weeks, we've had 33 courses that have been completed. So that's, when you think about credit and staying on track for graduation, that's big, but that also includes the students that are working ahead. So it's been so far so good. We have 2 more weeks of summer school, so looking forward to that number increasing for courses completed. Just one of the things that we noticed in school's PLP with the world language is that French and Spanish is a little different. So Mrs. Boaz is working she's learning how to use that program to make sure we benefit kids in both of those languages. But so far it's been good report from the teachers. They like the ease of use, and the kids like it because they're not watching one straight video. It's been a good piece of technology to have as a resource this summer.
Glad to hear that.
Any questions? Yes, Josh?
Thank you.
Next, Jamie's gonna talk a little bit about a financial report, kind of the end of the year and just some other information leading up to the actual board hearing.
Jamie Wilson, business manager, we provide you with just kind of a financial report. I'm gonna talk a little bit tonight about what I'm predicting for the end of the year, although we still have about 13 days left, and I know it doesn't seem like a long time, but for me it's an eternity. Those 13 days, a lot can happen. So just looking at what we are as of June, the 17th? We're looking at our local revenue, county revenue, state revenue, and other revenue being higher than what we had originally predicted. So when we originally met in July of last year, we were anticipating about $18.5 million. And now as we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year, we're looking at $19.7 million. So a little bit of a difference there. We've talked about it in previous board meetings about how some of it is due to the funding model and then making the adjustments. Others is due to local revenue and county revenue coming in a little bit higher. I'm still waiting on one final check from Goshen County for our local revenue. So hopefully within the next couple of days here, I'll know exactly how much revenue we're looking at. As far as expenditures go, we are not spending as much money as we had anticipated. As we discussed in other board meetings, this is a lot of our quote unquote savings is due to not being able to hire or having the applicants. That's where a majority of the cost savings are coming from. I will say that we are looking at, in the next couple of days, I'm looking at least $400,000 coming out, and that's due to our property insurance. We're gonna pay
before end of year this year for the next year. That our new insurance company would like it to be paid before June 30th. So that's gonna be a majority of it. That's gonna be over 300,000 just for the property insurance alone. Having said that, we are still going, the maximum that the state allows us to have is 30% of our prior year's guarantee. So the maximum amount that we can carry over in our cash is $5.7 million. And if you want the whole number, I can rattle it all off, but our goal is around $5.7 million. So at this point in time, I do feel like we are going to be in a financial place where we can transfer into a ready reserve, where we can use the cash from this year for assets, big purchases that we normally wouldn't have to or have the available funds to do that with. So that's a great thing for our district as long as I've been business manager, we haven't been able to do that. So that's a great thing for us to be able to do. Another note. I'm also looking at the cash balance for our lunch account. I would like to get our lunch account a little healthier before end of year this year, but again, the state has requirements about how much you can have carried over in there as well. I plan to meet with our auditor on Monday to talk about what all this looks like for cash and how he wants that booked, so it's all gonna be perfect and ready to go for when he comes in and does our audit for the end of the year. Other than that, I'm just working on the budget, just trying to get everything squared away. We've got new hires coming in that you guys are gonna see on the new hire report, so just plugging those numbers in for actuals versus estimates to make it as accurate as I can.
Right.
I do not, when we have vacancies, I do not budget for a first year teacher. I budget for somebody with some experience coming in, and I budget for them to have a family plan. So when they come in as a first year and a single or no insurance needed, it makes a big difference. When an insurance plan is $30,000, it adds up quickly when you don't have those. So that's all I have until July when you get the big guy.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jamie.
Yep.
Okay, next we'll have the board reports. So it's just, we've talked a couple of times about, we have an onboarding book that we're putting together, Dustin and Diane and I. And so Dustin, if you give us a short overview of what you see in the book, Diane and I, and then you guys can let us know if we need to add anything else, but we'll keep it short and sweet.
So, yeah, last month, we mentioned that, you know, there's resources all over the place out there. WSBA houses the majority of them. But even to get on WSBA's website and to go through something, if you're a brand new board member coming in, and they just tell you, yeah, go on this website and look it over, you're gonna be lost like immediately. I'm sure you folks have experienced that as well. Even with this product that they have installed, now that I'm elected, what's the next step? Well, that's a volume, that's not like a handbook, right? So, not that there's not bad information, this is all great information. It's just a brand new board member kind of needs to highlight on a few things to get their feet wet into their first few meetings. What does that first meeting in December look like? What's about to happen? And so having some background on that, again, I'm kind of a blood marks and bullet points kind of guy. So I have this thing all highlighted up, and the sheet that I have that is tracking what's going on here with all of that, and my original plan was just usurped on Saturday with WSBA's new module 3 here, public meetings and minutes and some of the pieces, but this is just a little bit fancier version than what I was thinking about with the bullet points. So what is a public meeting? How does Wyoming open meeting law affect what we do as brand spanking new board members? And where would that, I would have loved that information as I came in as well. Everybody sitting at this table, I think, has had that similar experience. So I'm going to take what I was already doing, go ahead and match up with this a little bit more, and I will get that put into the packet fairly quickly, but the shorter condensed version, I think has kind of already just been done. But still, if no one knows how to get a hold of this, it's still not gonna do them any good, so we're gonna have to give them a solid tool that they can open that up and say, okay, you're a board member, why is it so important to understand the Wyoming Open Public Meeting Law? Or the other laws that dictate some of the things that we do. And what does it really mean to be a board member, and yeah, when they enter this room and they take their chair for the first time, what to expect? What's it gonna look like? Cause I guarantee you the world looks different from here that way than it does from there looking this way.
That's right.
Thank you. For sure. Roger that.
Diane,
All right.
your section?
I appreciate all the work on details that you're doing. Mine was a little bit more straightforward. In this folder that the new members will get will be our monthly school board agenda items. It will be a contact list, like numbers and email addresses of everyone here, plus WSBA and different things. So that's that, and then our vision, mission, and belief statements, which should be very guiding in all of our decisions, will be in there. The strategic plan, the management flow chart, and I'm suggesting adding our trustee meeting schedule to be in there, as well as policy terms, because policies are such an important part, and we throw a lot of terms like adopt, revise, amend, and having those at their fingertips, I think would help discussions.
And that's my portion of it, is the parliamentary procedure that I'll be adding to it, is what a motion means, how you make a motion, why, and that kind of stuff. So again, just for everybody here and everybody at home that watches, there will be 3 people up for re-election next year. So if anybody's thinking about running for school board, please talk to any of us and we'd be happy to visit with you.
Also, Diane, I apologize. Diane had asked me for my notebook for some of those dates on the agenda. I'm sorry, I totally dropped the ball. I have not gotten back to you on that.
Yeah.
I apologize.
No problem. I will also add to your thought, the dates to file are August 7th through the 26th. And there's these nice little booklets that have been put together that will be at the courthouse, at the clerk's office. I'm gonna be dropping these off.
And Heather put these together, is that right?
Yep.
Thank you.
She did a fabulous job on that.
Very informative on very basics, what our goals are, it's just really a good bit of information, so.
All right, thank you everyone. Any other additional items? I don't think we have any other board committees right now, so we'll move on to policy evaluation. All right, so is this you or me?
It's you, if you want to, or me, either way.
Okay, number 1 is replacing AE with our shared vision of Platte County School District with the strategic plan placemat. And it was basically a duplication, right?
Yeah, so the last one I think was back in 2014. So we're just updating the strategic plan in policy, the one we've been working on, so.
All right, and then you see the other policies there. Do we need to go over each one of them?
Talking about real quick, if you want me to.
Please do.
So the professional staff fringe benefits, we wanna change that so it's full-time. We're gonna separate the actual payment that our staff would get, our certified staff and administrator get when they leave the district, when they have their number of hours of professional or personal plus sick leave. That was connected to our sub pay, so now we're recommended it actually be by the hour, that's kinda how our system works. And then if we choose to raise our substitute pay, it's not connected to that payout amount, so it won't cost the district double. That was one of our big, I guess, ideas around changing that policy. And so we looked at it as a policy group and as IBB negotiations, we felt like it just needed a little clarification on a couple of those things, so I think everybody's in agreement. And then the next one, the GCBD/Arts regulation in terms of expense reimbursement. Instead of trying to worry about receipts and who's paying, like if it's coffee or little incidentals, Jamie put this together to kind of follow in terms of when someone goes to professional development, we'd like to prepay some of those bills up front, like the cost of a hotel room, and then know how many days they're actually going to be at a certain location, and give them the government's rate, and they would actually get a check before they would go, and then it's up to them how they want to spend that money for their meals. So it's gonna cut down a lot of paperwork with credit cards and receipts and number of people who went or who was eating dinner together, all those kinds of things. So that's a regulation that was put together.
Love it. And more freedom to choose too.
And then the next one, the EFA, that's a requirement with our upcoming food service audit. We have to have this policy in place, we have to have a wellness committee, and there has to be goals, and there has to be meeting minutes showing all these things, so that's kind of getting ahead of the game a little bit in terms of that policy for requirement for that audit. So those ones are kind of up that we're evaluating and moving forward with.
And this counts as the informational reading for each one of these, and then you'll see them at the following board meeting.
Thank you for putting the words by the letters. That sounds dumb, but like the title of it, by the policy identification letters.
Yeah.
I like that.
Alright, so we'll move on to action items, and item number 1 is the personnel. Hiring, resignations and terminations.
I would move to approve the personnel hiring resignations and terminations.
Thank you.
I'll second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Any discussions? We all have it in our packet for what's going on. Any discussion? Alright, all those in favor to approve the personnel hiring, resignation and terminations, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay. And item 2 is our property tax.
I would like to make a motion to approve the property tax resolution.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Alright, any discussion on the property tax resolution? Any questions? Everybody good? Alright, all those in favor to approve the property tax resolution, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? Item 3, approve the lease with Piccadilly.
I would move to approve the Piccadilly daycare lease agreement.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? All those in favor of approving the Piccadilly daycare lease, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Alright. And now we have policy JEB.
I would move to approve policy JEB on the second and final reading.
I'll second that.
Alright, thank you both. Alright, any questions, discussion, comments?
We've discussed it before, but it's the entrance age requirements for anybody who's.
So all those in favor of approving policy JEB on the second and final reading, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? And then another policy on the first of 2 readings.
Alright, I'll make a motion to accept the policy JK, employment of students, and EEAA-R on the first of 2 readings.
I'll second that motion.
Any comments? Discussion, concerns?
This is the same one that was a discussion, work session last week. Correct.
EEAA-R is on walkers and riders / school bus scheduling and routing.
So it's two of them.
Policies for revision.
Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor of approving the revision of policies JK, the employment of students, and EEAA-R on the first of two readings, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? All right, item 6.
This is mine.
No.
Move to approve the adoption of policies KB, parent rights, KB-R, parent rights, complaint KB-R, parent rights, complaint procedure, EBDA, prevention of diseases / infectious transmission, EBBA-R, JLCC, communicable infectious diseases, JICFA, harassment, intimidation, and bullying, JEA, compulsory attendance age, GBEC, drug-free workplace, and GBEC-E-1, notice to employees of drug-free workplace on first of two readings.
I'll second that.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so, there's several policies in there, they're all highlighted on the agenda, that anybody can look at, but this is the first of two readings. So, any questions on any of those policies? All right, all those in favor of the adoption of policies KB, parent right, KBR, parent right, complaint procedure, EBBA, prevention of disease infectious transmission, EBBA-R, JLCC, communicable infectious disease, JICFA, harassment, intimidation, and bullying, JEA, compulsory attendance age, GBEC, drug-free workplace, and GBEC-E-1, notice to employees of the drug-free workplace. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Alright, item 7.
I will make a motion to approve the repeal of policies JHCC-GBE, JHCC-R/GBE, GBAA, GBAA-R, JBAA, JFCK, JFCK-R, JEA, GBCB, and GBCB-R. Acknowledgement on first and only reading.
I'll second.
Thank you. So these are policies that the policy committee has looked at and either found them duplicated somewhere or that they're not applicable anymore. And so to repeal a policy, we will first and only reading and then that'll be done. So any questions or comments on any of these? All right, so all of those in favor to approve the repeal of policies JHCC-GBE, JHCC-R, GBE, GBAA, GBAA-R, JBAA, JFCK, JFCK-R, JEA, GBCB, and GBCB-R. Please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? Item 8.
I would move to approve the contract with North Platte Physical Therapy.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Ladies first, we'll give it to Connie. All right, the contract with North Platte Physical Therapy. Any questions on that? All all those in favor of approving the contract with North Platte Physical Therapy, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? All right, item 9. Approve to amend the 24-25 school year calendar.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve the amended 24-25 school year calendar.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions on that? There was just we had to fix a day, is what it was. It's
Okay.
Any questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the amended 24-25 school year calendar, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no? All right, and item 10.
I would move to approve authorization of the establishment of a depreciation reserve fund for purchasing and replacing district assets to include but not limited to purchasing or replacing technology equipment, transportation vehicles, furnishings, machinery, and other equipment.
And I'll second that for you.
Any questions? This is a secondary fund or another fund that we can keep our own money in to have at the ready to take care of things that we need to take care of.
Awesome.
So, will this, excuse me, will this follow under default to the other policies that we already have in place as far as dollar amounts on approval? The 25,000 or the 5,000 or whatever dollar amounts that are spending out of this account?
I see it's following the same rules, yeah.
Just
And this is an addition to our carryover, right? This is a
Right.
separate one that's not
Right.
counted in that 30%.
This will be not general fund, this will be capital fund.
Capital.
Great.
Yeah, yeah, too much money.
Any questions, comments? All right, all those in favor of approving the authorization of the establishment of a depreciation reserve fund for purchasing and replacing of district assets to include, but not limited to, purchasing or replacing technology equipment, transportation vehicles, furnishings, machinery, and other equipment, please signify by saying aye. Anybody opposed, say no? Got a little ahead of myself there. All right, it passed.
It was hot today.
All right, item 11.
I'll make a motion, go ahead.
Ladies first.
I'll make a motion to approve Donaldson airflow system for the Wheatland High School wood shop.
I'll second that.
All right. Any questions on this?
So important for lungs.
All right, so all those in favor of approving Donaldson airflow system for the WHS wood shop, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any no's? Yes, have it. All right, we will be on to the work session July 8th, and the school board meeting will be July 15th. With that,
So I talked to Jamie a little bit about that, I don't know if we wanna do it before or after the board meeting, cause that's the day we normally have a special board meeting, so we'd have to advertise that as a special budget meeting. But we wanna do it like after one, do we wanna do it a little before, or it's the pleasure of you guys, so I don't know, Jamie, do you have a preference? That's the date it's used, so.
Yeah, it's been done both ways in the past, it's just during the board meeting, you just have to recess out to hold the special budget hearing. There's a few different rules, then we get done with that and reconvene.
We can make a recommendation to you and talk about it during the work session.
Pretty easy.
Yep, whatever the wishes of the board is.
And then the work session will focus on the budget. So
Right,
specific questions, we'll have a lot of information at the work session going into the board hearing. Budget hearing?
so more than likely the work session focus on the budget, and then we'll do something with the budget during the board meeting.
Yep.
Alright,
On that note, Madam Chair, I would move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
alright. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed?